Chapter 8. Chaos. All in all, you could say that Jane Dixon took the face full of warm toddler wee quite well. Well, you could say that, but only if by quite well you mean that she started screaming and completely freaking out. Kevin, the Volcano Harrison, was so disturbed that he threw up in the stingray pool. Yuck, that's disgusting, and it's all Roman's fault, said Rosie, who had just returned to the room. The manager's on his way, Mrs. MacDonald. Maybe we could ask him to call the police so that Roman could be put in jail. Ah ha ha, cool, it's like an oil slick, said Gamble. Except it's an oil slick, get it? To emphasise this joke, he punched me hard in the arm. Oh, it's not funny, I said, but I was still finding it difficult to speak. Oh, I hope nobody expects me to clear that up, yawned Miss Clegg. While this was happening, Mrs. MacDonald was being yelled at by the mum of the toddler, and the little girl, who now got her potty back, was dancing around the room with it on her head. It was pure chaos. In the end, the manager came and our class was asked to leave. Miss Clegg took everyone to the bus while I went to the first aid room and waited for an ambulance with Mrs. MacDonald. When the paramedic turned up, she scraped and wiped my swollen face to get rid of the poison. Then she spread some cream across the worst bits and gave me an ice pack. It's a bit puffy, but there's no real damage, she said. You'll be fine with some painkillers. Get your mum to take you to A&E if the swelling doesn't go down, though. Phew. I was frightened his head was going to burst, said Mrs. MacDonald. Imagine the forms I'd have to fill in. Oh, thanks a bunch. Nice to know you care, I thought. You're a lucky lad, said the paramedic. Lucky? I'd just been hit with a flying jellyfish when all I wanted was a jam donut. I hadn't exactly got 5 numbers in the bonus ball on the lottery. I wouldn't need anything for the rest of the day, though, said the paramedic, zipping up her bag. Just in case you feel ill. My stomach did a backflip. No food until tomorrow. I was already absolutely starving, and worst of all, no food would mean no jam donuts. I didn't usually go that long without one. What would happen to me? I could get sick, or I could come out in a rash, or my head could literally fall off. This wasn't good. By the time Mum arrived to take me home, the rest of the class had been sitting in the bus for almost an hour, and they weren't too happy. When I got on with Mrs. MacDonald to collect my lunchbox and coat, Gamble and a few others stood up and booed, like the whole thing was my fault. Miss Clegg even joined in, which I thought was pretty low. I tried to speak to Jane, but she just turned away and looked out of the window, my face still burning. I dragged my feet off the bus, and Mum drove me home.